The Tree Sentinel armor set is easily one of the best looking heavy armor sets available in Elden Ring. Damn, just look at that. Reminds me of one of those formidable Greek Spartan warriors. Maybe not. Being a heavy set, it offers superior physical defences across the board, so you need to stack some endurance which directly affects stamina and equipment load. Bear in mind that the soft cap for equipment load kicks in after endurance level 60. For more info on soft caps and how to maximise your level distributions for all 8 stats, make sure to check out the helpful video made by the Full Measure, linked in the description. If heavy tanky builds are your thing, then the Sentinel armour set should be on your radar. As you can see, the golden great shield really complements the Sentinel's golden attire. These golden shields are rare drops from Lanedale Knights. Consuming a silver pickled foul foot before taking one down will maximise your chances. The swords I have equipped are the Star Scourge curved greatswords, which is a chosen reward after defeating the demigod boss Radahn. The Star Scourge is a magic weapon which scales with strength, dex and int, and has a powerful ability called Starcaller Cry. Star Scourge is one of the best greatswords available in the game. To unlock the Tree Sentinel armour set, you first need to reach a dungeon located toward the northern end of the map, named Auriza Hero's Grave. The key items you'll unlock following this guide, which do not respawn, are as follows. The Golden Epitaph Straight Sword, which requires 1 Stone Sword key to access, 3 level 5 Grave Gloveworts, 4 level 6 Grave Gloveworts, 1 level 6 Ghost Glovewort, 1 Stone Sword key, the Crucible Feather Talisman, which improves dodge rolling but increases damage taken, the Vulgar Militia Summon Ashes, which cause blood loss to enemies, the Holy Ground Ash of War for your shield, which is an AoE party healing spell, the Tree Sentinel full armour set, the main topic of this video, and finally Ordovis's Greatsword and the full Crucible armour set, if you manage to defeat the Crucible Knight dungeon bosses. Okay, on to the main walkthrough. To reach the Auriza Hero's Grave dungeon, from the Outer Wall Battleground Site of Grace, head southeast in the direction of the site's rays, and simply run past all enemies en route following the path shown here. After entering the dungeon and activating its Site of Grace, you can use a single Stone Sword key to unveil a mist barrier directly ahead. However, only do this if you want to acquire the Golden Epitaph Straight Sword, which is guarded by 3 Deathblight spraying basilisks. The Golden Epitaph is a piercing weapon which also deals holy damage, and has a D-scaling for strength, dex and faith. Before proceeding, it's handy to have the incantation weapon enchantment named Order's Blade applied to your melee weapon. In addition to dealing holy damage, this incantation will prevent any reviving skeletons from respawning, circumventing the need to hit them again once they're down. The Order's Blade incantation will last 90 seconds and will cost 22 FP with each cast. From the Site of Grace, head down the stairs to the right and sprint down the large sloping hallway where you'll notice a statue situated on top of some stone archways, shining a sigil of light on the ground. This indicates where a rolling death trap chariot will spawn. In order to survive, you want to duck into the alcove to the left, halfway down the slope. The alcove to the right will spawn 2 skeletons. When the chariot passes back up the slope, continue sprinting down just past the beacon of light, and immediately stop in between the 2 stone pillars of the archway, where a second chariot will spawn up a smaller slope just ahead. The body slumped over the ledge on the right rewards 5 fan daggers when looted. When safe to do so, drop down to the left or the right into the catacombs below, where several deathblight breathing basilisks will spawn. Having some rejuvenating boluses to consume, or casting the Order Healing incantation to alleviate deathblight build-up is advised, as once this meter fills, it's instant death. Down here you'll find a level 6 Grave Glovewort along the eastern wall, and up the stairs to the west you'll find a level 5 Ghost Glovewort. Along the northern corridor, which leads out onto another slope, but this time with 2 Chariots of Death, you'll find a level 5 Grave Glovewort guarded by another Basilisk. Wait for the chariot on the right to pass up or down the slope, then quickly dash out onto the path in the middle where you'll find a stone sword key on the edge. At the rear southern wall of this opening, you'll find a level 6 Ghost Glovewort guarded by a skeleton. Facing out of the opening, when the chariot passes up the slope, quickly sprint down to pick up the level 6 Grave Glovewort in the middle. Then quickly duck into an alcove to the west, but be wary of a hidden skeleton who swiftly attacks as you draw close. Both chariots will now alter their paths, heading down the shorter slope to the left. When the nearest chariot reaches your position, sprint out behind it and follow it down. Then slalom your way around the chariots until you reach another safe zone, situated in between 2 stone pillars as before. Another chariot will spawn up a smaller slope just ahead, which blocks access to the Crucible Knight dungeon bosses. The body slumped over the ledge to the left rewards you with a level 7 golden rune when looted. When safe to do so, line yourself up with the head of the dead body and drop down onto a wooden beam below. Dropping down to a second wooden beam, you'll find another body which holds some holy grease for coating your weapon. Drop down to a third wooden beam and carefully head north, until you can drop down to another beam which leads into a room with a statue and several death-spawn basilisks. After dealing with all threats, continue past the statue and head into the room to the south, where you'll find a level 5 Grave Glovewort and the Vulgar Militia Spirit Ashes, which is a summon that deals blood loss to enemies. Ignore the wooden ladder on the western wall and instead head back out onto the wooden beams where you entered this area. Drop down onto the wall of stone archways below and carefully traverse its edge until you reach the room to the south, where another skeleton awaits. At the end, climb up the wooden ladder located on the southern wall. A quick pro tip here: when ascending or descending ladders, you can hold down the sprint button, making scaling ladders far less painful. This takes you into a corridor which leads out onto another slope of death. Along the corridor, you'll notice a bright flash of light, which indicates a new Chariot of Death spawning just above. When the chariot passes down the slope, quickly sprint out and head up the centre walkway, and past the spawning golden sigil on the floor. Head into the passage to the right, where you'll notice a large flame trap pillar shooting flames. High up on the pillar is another statue emitting the light sigil you just passed. First, grab the level 6 Grave Glovewort by the eastern wall. You'll then need to hit the flame pillar with your weapon to move the entire structure upwards, along with the statue emitting the beacon of light. This is key to destroying every chariot in the dungeon, which in turn rewards you with the full Sentinel armor set and grants access to the dungeon bosses. As soon as you hit the flame pillar and it starts rising, sprint back out onto the slope and let the chariot run your ass over. If you're quick, you may be able to avoid the chariot and make your way down to the exit at the bottom of the slope, using the alcove to the left halfway down. However, the timing is very tight and will likely result in death. When you respawn at the start of the dungeon, make your way back to the second slope with 2 chariots. You'll notice a new light sigil on the ground emitted by the statue on the flame pillar you just raised, which you can now see through an opening high up on the eastern wall. The newly spawned chariots will collide with and destroy the 2 existing chariots, effectively removing all chariots from the dungeon. When this happens, you'll be rewarded with the Holy Ground Ash of War for a shield, as well as the Tree Sentinel full armor set. To complete the dungeon, head all the way back to the third slope, where the chariot ran you over, to collect any dropped runes. Then head all the way down to the bottom of that slope, and take the tunnel leading to the left. After taking down the 2 skeletons guarding the corridor, the steps leading down directly ahead lead to the Crucible Feather Talisman, which is entirely optional, and is guarded by an aggressive omen. The Crucible Feather Talisman improves the effectiveness of dodge rolls, but increases damage taken at all times. Continue up the steps to the left leading to the north, which takes you into a square room with a stone lift. Ride the lift all the way up and take the only exit heading north, where you'll notice the flame pillar spewing flames. Hit the pillar to stop the flames, then head round the corner to pick up 3 great dragonfly heads, as well as a level 6 grave glovewort. Drop down onto the sloping area below and head north, then continue up the smaller slope just ahead, which was previously blocked off by a chariot. Opening the doors at the top will take you to the tough dungeon boss fight with the Crucible Knight and Crucible Knight Ordovis. Upon defeating them, you'll be rewarded with Ordovis's greatsword, as well as the Crucible Axe heavy armor set, which isn't as good as the Tree Sentinel set, but weighs less.
Gamer grade.